Guys, it's your coach, your favorite coaches, Coach DJ and Coach Vu, back again with another episode of Way the Nomad podcast. Today, we're going to be talking about how to instantly boost your confidence with your fitness goals. Kevin, what is up? How's your day going?
Hey, what is going on, everyone? Welcome back to a brand new episode of A Vision Includes You podcast. I am joined today with Coach DJ, and we're going to be talking about how to instantly boost your confidence with your fitness goals. DJ, my day is going well. Started off with a bang, was able to get a lot of productive work in, and I am super excited to share that value in today's podcast. So, DJ, back to you. How's your day been?
Dude, best day of my life. Every day has been great. I'm back
Let's
in
get it.
momentum. I'm getting in the best shape of my life. I'm going to Cuba in like a month.
Let's
I
go.
got a challenge going on. I feel good. I feel great. And with that being said, guys, let's jump into today's episode. So, how to instantly boost your confidence with your fitness goals. So, we're creating this podcast because there are a lot of people that are maybe already working on your goals. Maybe you're halfway through your goals. Maybe you're kind of thinking of starting your goals, but you aren't sure if you're ever going to get to those results you truly want. So, this episode is for you guys. And what we're going to be talking about is some things that are going to help you give you that instant confidence to understand that you already have all the capabilities within you. You've already overcome so many struggles in your life in the past. And so what we're talking about is how think about all the things in your past that were hard as hell, that were the most challenging things in your life, and yet here you are, you've overcome it. And how can you use that with your fitness goals now? Because a lot of people are doubting themselves. A lot of people are thinking like, I'm not sure if I can do this. I'm not sure if I can do that. I'm not sure if I can stick to my goals. I don't think I can stick to my workouts. Think about the hardest thing that you've overcome in the last 5, 10 years, maybe even your whole lifetime. Think about the hardest things that you've overcome through, again, pure necessity. And a lot of times this is how people grow, where they don't have a choice and they have to go through some hardships. And the reason why I'm saying that is because you got to understand that, when you want something, you have to understand that there's going to be obstacles, and you have to understand that it's not going to be easy. But at the same time, remember all the things that you've already done. Remember all the things that you've already overcome, because if you think about it, you are capable of sticking to something hard. You are capable of overcoming something that is hard because you've done it over and over and over in other areas of your life. And you can go into, for example, maybe your career, maybe your business, maybe your profession. How did you get to that job? How did you get to that level? How did you get to where you are now? I'm guessing it took a lot of hard work, maybe some sleepless nights, maybe some, overtime. And so you got to understand that you have those skills. If you apply those same skills, those same lessons, those same work ethic to your fitness goals, then again, this is going to instantly boost your confidence because you have proof that it's worked in the past. You have proof of overcoming your hardest things in your life. You have proof of everything you need is already within you. And that's what today's episode is all about. Vu, you
So
want
I
to add in there?
yeah, I just want to say I think a lot of us, we all have different types of experiences, right? It doesn't matter where you're from, doesn't matter how you grew up in, doesn't matter what your history or your background is. It's like we all have different experiences, and with those experiences came struggles, because I don't believe that anyone ever has an easy life, like everything just handed out to them. There has to be some type of struggle along the process. And if you're taking those struggles in your life and you're turning them into like lessons of like, okay, what can I learn from this? Well, I've actually learned that I'm more resilient than I actually give myself credit for instance, right? Like, you've overcame a lot of hard things. Okay, me crush my water intake should be nothing, right? In comparison to what I've overcame in the past. So a lot of times when you are overcomplicating, for example, your fitness goals, it's like, it's really not that hard if you think about it. If you break it down in like a step-by-step process when it comes to your fitness goals, doing these tasks are nothing compared to what you've already overcame. So when you're thinking about that in that comparison, okay, so why am I complaining so much about, oh, I have to hit these steps? Why am I complaining so much about drinking my water intake? When in reality, I know that I've done way worse than this. I've gone through harder things than this. Like, it's really not that complicated, right? So I think oftentimes when people, they lack that confidence in themselves when it comes to their fitness goals, it's likely due to the fact that they're not immediately seeing results. So for example, let's say you're studying for a test, right? You're studying for a test, and let's say you're not confident in that test, But let's say you studied and then you did the test and then you get that confidence because you get the mark that you wanted, right? It's like almost instant, maybe like within 48 hours, you get your mark posted online and then you're like, oh, I have that confidence because I actually killed that test. I thought I did bad, but I actually did good. But when fitness, it's almost like a little bit of a different story because you're not going to see instant results right away. You're not going to see, okay, I'm drinking my water, I'm hitting my steps, and then next I'm going to wake up the next day 30 pounds lighter. Like, it doesn't work like that. So, DJ, I just wanted to ask you, for the audience who, is craving that instant results, but at the same time, they don't have that instant confidence because they don't see the instant results, what would you say to them so that you can still give them that sliver of hope, that sliver of like confidence so that they can continue going in their fitness journey?
Yeah. Well, the easiest thing to ask you is what in your life was worthwhile that came to you just like this? Like, think about all the things in your life that was worthwhile. Maybe it's a relationship. Maybe you're really think of the thing that you're most proud of. Maybe it's your relationship with your kids. Maybe it's your relationship with your wife, husband. How did you cultivate that? Was it like you just said hi and then you guys had an instantly beautiful relationship? No, it was a ton of dates, a ton of being on your best behavior and doing the work and being there when it wasn't convenient for you, right? And so understand that nothing in life that is worthwhile. And again, we're talking about your fitness goals. You want this phenomenal physique, which by the way, there's a statistic that I posted about and I shared in America. 1 in 10 people are likely to be in a household of millionaires. 1 in 10 people have a millionaire household income. 1 in 10. 1 in 25,000 people have a visible six pack in America. And it blows my mind because it's easier to be a millionaire by a long shot than it is to have a six pack. And we all know how hard it is to be a millionaire. You probably, if you're listening to this, you're like, wow, being a millionaire, it's way easier to have a six pack. Well, you got to understand both things are incredibly difficult. And you have to understand the only way that you get to either one, anything meaningful in life, is delayed gratification, understanding that it takes reps in. And the one thing that I want you guys to understand is you have things in your life that you're super proud of. There's at least something. It could be your dog. Okay. It could be anything. But how did it get to the point where this, again, if we're talking about the dog, that it's well trained, it knows when to pee and poo, all these different things. Was it just one day of like teaching him or her where to poop? No, it was repetition. It was day in, day out, every single day doing and practicing with your dog. And the same thing is applied to anything. And what we're really trying to break down, guys, is that if you look at the things in your life that you are proud of, that you have done, you can instantly boost your confidence because you apply those exact same things into your fitness goals and you will be successful. And I want to share personal experience. So I started off the opposite. I was not really proud of anything. I was really insecure, and I share this story a lot. Like, I didn't have control of anything. I felt like I was out of control. I felt like I didn't have, full autonomy of my body. I didn't know how to use it. I didn't know how to control it. So I started in the opposite. Everything I've learned now in the gym, I apply to everything in my life. And I got my kinesiology degree and I graduated with highest honors, not because I'm a genius, not because I'm smart, but because I have applied the same principles in studying for a test, in studying for exams that I did for the gym. And see, I'm a little bit in reverse, right? I learned all the skills at building my body, at training in the gym. And I've just applied everything I've learned into every single area of my life. And so you can re-engineer everything you've accomplished. And I'm telling you guys, and this is why I feel like I'm so lucky, I'm so blessed that I was in the reverse. I learned all these skills, discipline, and habits and routines because of the gym, because of fitness. And now I'm applying it to everything. And I'm not going to say that I'm super successful, that I'm exactly where I want to be, but I'm super proud of myself and I'm doing the things that I've always wanted to do. And that, to me, the only reason why I'm able to do that is because I just took what I learned in the gym and progressive overload, pushing yourself every single day, a little bit every single day, and understanding that this worthwhile thing, building my physique that I have now that I'm super proud of. Again, I'm not saying that it's the best, but it's the best physique I have. And I got that from daily work, daily repetition. It was hard as hell. And because I went through this, I'm able to apply that to anything. And now I know And if anybody's out there that's listening that has ever ran a business, has ever done anything like super, stressful, hard, and you've overcome it, you know that the next time it comes, you have all the skills, you'll know all the tools. After you've done it once, you know that you can do it again and again and again and again. And one thing that went straight to my head is like, how about all you mothers out there, all the mothers that went through their first childbirth? I hear atrocious stories of how horrible it was, how hard it was. I have no idea how painful it was, but you went through it once, and so many people are so many stories of they want another child, the next year, the next year, next year, right? Why? Well, it has to do, again, you were able to get through it. And every time you get through something that's hard, it's like a mental bank. It's like a mental bank of like, I remember that time that, for example, for me, I shattered my knee. I share this story all the time. I know, like, there has been nothing harder to overcome than that since that happened. And so whenever something happens, I'm thinking back like, whoa, like, who am I? Like, I know what I'm capable of. I know that I did this, 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 this. And so I'm going to just apply the same things on these new endeavors. I'm going to apply these same things that I had to do in my life for my business, for my fitness, for my relationships, for my insert goal here. And so you have every single thing. You've done the thing in different areas. You just need to apply it.
Yes. And I want to touch on a couple things. Like the first thing is, as you mentioned, you build that confidence in yourself because you are focusing on your own craft. You're focusing on what you're doing. And I think that's where a lot of people lack that confidence is when they start comparing themselves to other people. They start seeing all like these fitness models and like everyone who has the physique they want. And instantly it's almost like a shock to their own, not only their self-confidence, but their own egos and like their self-worth and self-image. Like one way how you can instantly boost your self-confidence is removing everyone who's going to have that physique and that influence on yourself. Like anyone who you see on social media that's like a fitness model, maybe you should unfollow all of them because again, most of the time they're not natural, number one. And number two, they are almost like portraying this image because that's their profession. If you're just someone who's like, you just want to look better, maybe you're someone who's not going to be like a pro fitness model or anything like that, you don't need to be looking towards for them for inspiration because that's not realistic for you and your lifestyle and your current circumstances, right? I think for oftentimes like people, they compare themselves. We're seeing all these models, we're seeing all these influencers online, and as a result, that's why their confidence is going down the drain. So you have to remember the only person you should compare yourself to is the person staring back at you in the mirror. Like as long as you know deep down in your heart that number one, you're doing your best every single day, you're putting in the work and you're becoming the best version of yourself, that's what truly matters. And that's what's going to bring true self-confidence is by working on yourself. You're not working to look like DJ. You're not working to look like me. You're not working to look like that pro fitness model. You're working to look like the best version of yourself. And the second thing you mentioned, DJ, was talk about daily work, like the daily action steps that's going to move the needle forward, essentially. Like that's how you build confidence as well, is you're looking at your daily routine, you're looking at your daily habits, your daily rituals, and you're looking at it as if, okay, are my habits being in line with the person I want to become? Are my habits and my actions and my rituals actually lining up to who I actually want to transform into? Because if not, then that's why you lack confidence. It's because you're telling yourself that you want all these things, but then you're not doing the work to actually achieve that goal, right? So oftentimes, if you want to instantly boost your confidence, make sure that your actions actually line up with the words that you actually want to achieve, right? Like that's how you boost confidence is by keeping the promises to yourself.
I love that. Yeah, 100%. And like on that note, keeping the promises to yourself. Think about this, guys. Analogy. If you had a friend that told you, I'm going to meet you at 7 p.m. at this diner, at this thing, and every single time they said that, they never showed up, how much trust would you put into this person? Right? If your boss told you, oh, yeah, you're going to get your weekends off, you're going to get your vacation, whatever, taken care of, and they never do every single year, how much confidence are you going to put in that person? The answer is obviously very little. Okay. So with this thought, guys, every single time you tell yourself, oh, I'm going to wake up early. Oh, I'm going to go to the gym today. Oh, I'm going to eat healthy today. And each time you lie to yourself, what do you think you're doing to yourself? You're creating this number one, it's cognitive dissonance, which is a whole different episode, but you're creating this mistrust with yourself every single time because you know that your word means jack shit. And if your word means jack shit, of course you're never going to believe yourself. Of course you're never going to have confidence. Of course you're not going to have, this, if I say this, I get it done attitude. You're not going to have that because just like in this analogy that I just said, your friend's not going to show up for you. Your boss is not going to show up for you. Your blah, blah, blah is not going to show up for you. So it starts with you. It always starts with you. And understand that the whole point of like self-accountability and self-accountability and self-confidence, it's the key is self. And it starts with you guys. It starts with you understanding that once you say something, you got to do it. And yes, there are action steps that you can obviously make sure to make it more sustainable and make it more realistic. But at the end of the day, if you tell yourself, I'm going to drink more water today, and every single time you say that, you don't have an action plan, you let it slide, then you are going to get your standards because you're setting that for yourself. And
Yes.
I think that's a really great place to kind of summarize today's whole episode, because that is, at the end of the day, it's all on your shoulders. It's all about
and
you.
I do want to caveat everything that DJ said as well. Like, yes, keeping your promises to yourself is important, but there's a clear distinction between, showing up and keeping your promises to yourself and aiming to be perfect. Okay. I think there's a clear distinction, because oftentimes when we say, oh, you got to show up for yourself no matter what, it's almost like, well, that means I have to show up and I cannot take any days off. And like, I can't really like miss a day. Otherwise I'm going to be a failure. Like, that's not what we're saying whatsoever. Right. When we say show up every single day, when we say like, try your best to like show up and actually work on yourself, we're not saying that you have to show up each and every single day as 100%. I think this is the biggest disconnect that a lot of people might misunderstand. So for myself and DJ, we show up every single day, but some days, more often than not, we don't actually give 100% because you can only give so much. Like, let's be honest, right? We have a mental battery that needs to be recharged. And some days when we do show up, let's say I'm showing up as 10%, but I'm still making the effort to show up. And that's something you have to understand. Like, I'm not going to like beat myself up for only showing up as 10%. At least I still showed up that day. And the next day, when I actually have more energy, I have a lot more mental strength, willpower, etc. And if I can actually give 100%, I'm going to give you my 100%. But it's about showing up every single day with what you got, with all you got for that day.
I love that.
That's the beauty.
I love that. Yeah, I want to touch on that just for a second, because there's a book, The 4 Agreements. This is like a very well-known book, and it's literally that sentence. It's understanding that your best is going to look different depending on your circumstances. Your best when you're going through a breakup, when you're going through a job loss, when you're going through divorce, when you're going through a death in the family, it's not going to look the same as your best when everything's all right, when everything's going great. And giving yourself that compassion to understand that as long as you did your best, again, depending on your circumstances, then you should go to bed without any stress in your head. You should go to bed with understanding that you gave it your all. You should be proud of yourself. And I think that's a perfect place to end off on today's episode. And guys, if you got value, remember, nothing we said matters unless you actually take action. I want to make this something I say at the end of every podcast, because me and Kevin are consecutively around over 200, and I'm at 260. I'm pretty sure Kevin got 300 and something, but we have cumulatively over 500 episodes of podcasts going over mindset, going over nutrition, going over workouts. And if you took everything and you actually took action on it, you would have your dream body by now. You would have all your goals figured out. But what the biggest missing key, guys, is taking action. Doesn't matter if you're a theorist, doesn't matter how much you learn about it, unless you actually take action. And with that being said, Kevin, where can they find you if they want to hear more?
Yes, you can follow me on all social media platforms at Evolution Fitness, and you can also follow my podcast as well at A Vision Includes You Podcast. DJ, where can they find you?
You guys can always find me at Nomadic Fitness, all major social media platforms, and The Way of the Nomad podcast on all streaming platforms, wherever you hear your favorite podcasts. And with that being said, guys, we hope to hear from you guys soon, and share this with your friend or family, and we're out. Peace.